rising, good afternoon, good evening to all of our lovely and loyal listeners. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Leslie, and I want to welcome you to Venus Exchange. Now, in lieu of all of our animal print tonight, we want to kick off our episode with telling you all, with telling you all the animal that we identify with most, our spirit animal, or just an animal that we would like to be. And I kind of chose hummingbirds because they're intuitive, they have good memories, and they remember and they know and they can sense every flower that they go to. They know what flower they want to head to before they get to it. And I want to be very in tune with flowers. I want to be a floral goddess. So
beautiful.
You are floral goddess. Anisha, let us know your spirit animal.
Okay, so my spirit... I'm Anisha. My spirit animal would be a lion. I chose a lion because, for one, I'm a Leo. So, yeah, that's just automatic. My attitude is, somewhat, And I wear my afro a lot. My hair is twisted right now, but yeah, I wear my afro a lot, and it's my thing. That's what my look. So that's why I picked the lion.
Cute.
Hey everyone, I'm Alicia. My animal is an elephant. Honestly, I just feel like I've been an elephant before. So, just feel like I was an elephant in my past life. To be honest, I resonate with them very deeply. The way they are big on community but independency, like at the same time, I think is really symbolic for how I usually approach life. So, yeah, I just love elephants. Don't mess with them, but they still love you. But
So, my name is Amber. I'm the goddess, if you like. And
if you're nasty.
My spirit animal is most certainly the lovely tall giraffe. So,
the long time? Those things are long.
Giraffe, I guess it all started off in the 8th grade when this girl was trying to tease me for being tall. And she was like, yeah, you tall giraffe. And I'm just thinking in my head, their necks are long. That's what makes them tall. You sound simple. But I hope you're listening, girl. I still think about you. I hope you're listening.
Your mean ass.
So I really started to resonate with giraffes when I was just going through this time where somebody was calling me out on my stubbornness. Apparently Capricorns are stubborn, and that's usually true from what I hear. But I remember I was telling my dad he told me I was stubborn and all of this, and he feels like I don't give enough to. I just stay in my own little. It's my highway, or no, it's not my highway. It's my way, or the highway. And my dad, he was like, oh, let me get this book. So he got this book, and it's called Instincts by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And then he showed me the video, and it was him with an interview with Oprah. And they were talking about how a giraffe can be in the same geographical location as a turtle. But a turtle can never tell a giraffe how to make a giraffe decision. It's just only going to be able to tell it from a turtle's perspective. And he's like, it doesn't mean that the turtle is wrong or that he has the wrong perspective. It just means that he can't tell a giraffe how to be a giraffe. So when I want to make giraffe decisions, then I need to be listening to giraffes. So I got it tatted on me shortly after, and I've just been focusing on giraffes ever since. So turtles, if I ignore you, that's why. No, I'm playing. I listen.
That, aka that's the turtle in this situation. All right, I am Nova of Temple and Aura, and my spirit animal is a koala bear.
So cute.
They are so cute. Like somebody. And they have a reputation, but they're also very misunderstood. And As a fire sign, I can be misconstrued a lot because I'm not angry. I'm passionate. Okay. But things I like about koala bears are that they really just try to stay out of the way. They are family people. People think that they're vicious. They're not vicious. They're very, very, very community oriented. They're very family oriented. They're very protective of their babies. But if you mess with them, they can take you out. But they don't take you out based on they don't have to fight to take you out. They prepare. They're already ready. They have foresight. They eat eucalyptus. That's the primary thing they eat. And eucalyptus, we all love it. Like I could just sniff some eucalyptus right now and get happy. But if you eat it in excess like they do, it makes you toxic. So they can't be hunted because you can't consume them. So it's the survivor for me.
Yeah,
like
right?
They got a whole little setup. You know what I mean? And I identify with that. Like, you may not understand the setup, but don't bite me, okay? Just admire and pet and take what I drop out of my tree, but don't come up here trying to. Don't bite.
Wow, I learned something new.
Yeah, that's
like
koala
that.
bears. That's koala bears. So, and anything that feeds on anything green, I'm a like, because, you know, they eat their veggies. That's what's up, you know.
Right.
But I just love koala bears, so that's it.
Beautiful. Now, tonight's episode it's titled "Woman at Work." All right. Okay. Tonight's edit that out. Tonight's episode is titled "Woman at Work" because we wanted to discuss the stereotype, the view that Black women have whenever we are demanding, whenever we are trying to get a point across, but nobody, you know, wants to listen to us. We just want to, I guess, you know, get into the experiences that we have had with being called the angry Black woman, should we say. Now, more recently, I've had an experience with my landlord, y'all. I haven't talked about it much because I'm trying to preserve my energy because it's draining even thinking about it. Because I get upset, I'm frustrated. The other day, I think I cried about it. You know, I'm just like, what the hell? And I even wrote in the email, I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to start off this tendency, you know, on a bad foot, but y'all pushing me. Y'all pissing me off. I need this done, and y'all dragging y'all feet. It's not urgent to y'all, but y'all playing with my life. Y'all playing with my money. Y'all playing with my house, and I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. So if need be, we can handle this my way if y'all don't want to do it, you know, the legal way. I mean, the professional way, whatever, y'all way. And I'm like, you know what? I felt bad about it, so I'm calling. I'm like, you know what? Should I apologize? Maybe I should apologize because if you know me, I'm a very timid person. I'm very shy. I'm a people pleaser. I like to please people. You know, I try to make sure they're happy before I am. But this time I'm like, you know what? No, F that. I hung up the phone. I'm like, I'm not about to apologize to y'all. I paid y'all money to do something and y'all didn't do it. Y'all didn't deliver the service to me that y'all were supposed to deliver. So, yeah, right after I hung up, I received a phone call from somebody who was, you know, supposed to come fix the issue. And I'm like, okay, I see how I got to play this game with y'all. I got to bark for y'all to, you know, get what I want. And I feel good about it. I usually don't come off like that, especially if I don't know you. I try to, because the first impression is the very important impression. So I try to make sure I come off loving, I come off nice. But I'm like, you know, not this time. So,
No, that's
yeah.
right. Period.
Okay, so when it comes to women at work, how do you feel like, okay, let's say you're a landlord. Let's say you were a man. Do you feel like your landlord would have responded the same way?
Absolutely not. No.
So what do you think would be different?
I think that being a man is being a Black man, I guess I'm going to go there. I'm going to take it there. I feel like they would have been on the job, especially if I was older too. I feel like they would have been on a job, but they're thinking like, oh, you know, this is this young little girl. She's not going to try us. You know, she's not going to come at us the way she did because she we're doing us a favor. We're letting her stay in our property. You know, she's not going to try us. I think that if I was a guy, they would have completely, you know, done what I wanted them to do.
So, does anybody else have a story about a time that had to get a little feisty at work? Or with anybody else in a professional environment?
All my life I had to fight.
Genova got plenty of stories. What you want to start with, sis?
No, okay, so first off, let me say that I am 31. I have been working since I was 15. So that in itself puts you, you know, I'm double y'all employment just off being pushed out before y'all. So it's not my fault. But I've actually had some rather decent employment experiences, but we all have days at work. If I were to talk about a time that was actually extremely bothersome, I'm so compartmentalized. Let me try to dig deep. Okay, I'll talk about when I worked at BGSU. I was a custodian. I cleaned the union.
The university?
Yeah, Ziggy Ziggy Zumba.
Okay.
So I liked this job because it had outlier hours. I worked from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.
What's the name of the job?
I don't know. Student custodian.
I was that at BGSU too.
I worked in the union. Like I used to like clean up the offices at night. You had like a union worker. Like you had like an employee. You were like the student worker. So they would kind of tell you what they wanted you to do. Basically, I just want y'all to know I can change a mean garbage bag, okay? I would always be to work on time. Always to work on time. And I had a few I had a union of Zambian coworkers. I say a union because that's how Zambians roll. They gang. So it's like 6 of them and 1 of me. And the one girl did not like that I worked the shift with her man friend. And so one day this lady told the boss, which was let me try to be nice. She was like the mother off of 8 Mile. Eminem's mother on 8 Mile. And she told her that I was in a chair asleep, but I was really scraping gum. I had to lean to it because I was trying to get this gum that somebody had sat in a chair and stuck on the wall. So I'm literally scraping, and then I'm back sweeping, and the door swing open, and I'm from the hood, so I'm like, what's up? Like, I'm ready to fight. Oh, like, who is busting in this door? They about to get me. It's 5 a.m. It's the boss. She's like, why are you in here sleeping? Like, I'm scraping gum. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not sleeping or sweeping. What did you say? Who you talking to? And I'm young. I'm like 18. So she's like barking, mad barking or whatever. And I'm feeling my temperature, the flame. It was like a little candle flicker and it's turning into a campfire. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, can you see? Do you not see me cleaning? I'm not asleep. So I just got here.
So she didn't believe you when you explained what was going on?
At all. Like, at all. But no, I don't know what she was thinking when she walked through the building to get to me, to find me. But in her mind, she was like, mind you, she's a union worker. She's not a boss. Like, she don't cut the check. She's just the team leader for student workers. Talking to me like she just fell out of a cloud. And I know that she can't fire me. But in that moment, I'm still, feeling some type of way. So, it was just, it turned into a big mess because I, of course I complained about it. I was like, I don't want to work with her anymore. And they're like, well, who is she going to work with? She's like the team lead. Deal with her. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, whatever story of villains you can imagine. Like, it was like Batman versus the Joker or whoever he's against. I don't know comics, but we were like arch enemies at work. And it was like I was the representative of all students who hated all unit workers, and she was the representative of all union workers that did not want students to be employed by the union. And it was like the war that was at work as I knew it. So everybody always had to be on time and you can never be caught slacking. Like all the laid back aspects of the job went out of the window because she just could not apologize. And that's all I wanted, was just an apology from either the Zambian or her, because somebody lied, and then, you know, she started picking, you know, and picking, and it was ugly.
So it sounds like, okay, this is how I feel sometimes. Like, and I'm a woman and I'm a feminist, and I do feel like sometimes female authoritative figures, they overcompensate a little bit because they feel like they have to, because they won't get the same respect as if they were a male leader. So, for example, my current job.
I was trying to go here.
I'm going there. I'm going
way back because I didn't want to talk about Corella.
No, we're talking about him. So we had a few female managers at some of our jobs. Laura's not here, by the way. Shout out to Laura. We miss you.
Speedy healing.
Yes. So she'll be back with some interesting stories, but so we all share, 3 of us share the same job, and we have these female managers, and they were the ones who I honestly had like issues with. And it's like one of them I loved so much outside of work, but when it was like, hey, do this, and you know, the level of the volume, it was like so much, and I would just really sit back and think, like, why does she feel like she has to be so loud and demanding? And I'm not even talking about the main one that everyone can't stand, you know, but I'm just all of them. They were either super, super, super timid or like super, super not. And I'm like, I really try to ask myself, so if she was a man and she was talking to me like this, like, would I still feel like this, you know? And I do feel like she did, you know, they both of them overcompensated, and they, you know, also like size-wise, they're kind of like tiny. So I feel like sometimes tiny people like also do that, like try like to overcompensate.
Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah. So I was reading this book, the You Are a Badass book, and
we got that book.
They were talking about how like it was a chapter on mirrors, and how like everything that invokes some sort of emotion from you is like some sort of reflection of yourself, like positive or negative. So I was like, especially when it comes to negative, like the people who get under your skin, like they get under your skin because it's a reflection of something back in yourself. That's what this concept is about. So I'm like, let me go to the person who just caused me the most, like, tossing and turning in my bed. Like, she used to really, like, I was like, Mom, because I get along with everybody. It's like, I really do. I feel like I get along with everybody. So the fact that I just did not care for her, it was just eating at me. And I really feel like...
Bless your heart.
Yes, I do. Like any sort of conflict, I don't work well with conflict at all. I always feel like we can always come to some sort of understanding, but my understanding with her was that I really felt like that assertiveness I don't really have, because I want to avoid that angry black woman syndrome, to be honest. Like, I never want to be, oh my gosh, no, this is the biggest thing. I'm just talking. This is the biggest thing. I never want to be perceived as too emotional. I never wanted to be like, oh, she's just being a woman and she's just being too emotional. So that's why I never, like, anytime I cry, I'm just like, these pictures.
It's a boil. It's not a pain. It's a boil. Like, usually that's the boiling over. That's the spilling. When you see the tears, you probably should move, because that means that the limit has been reached, and the release needs to happen.
Yes. And that's how I felt when I came to the conclusion that I just felt like my manager, she had a certain level of assertiveness. I feel like when it comes to being assertive versus aggressive versus being just an a-hole, she's definitely just an a-hole sometimes. But most of the times, I really do feel like she's just being assertive. You know, it's just maybe that look in her eyes, or we're thinking about
it's
past
her package.
times. Yeah, we're like
package.
We're
it's
looking
the
at
look,
her
plus the tone, plus the delivery.
Yes,
and so what you can't be is a 3 in every category, because a 3 in every category would make it a 9, and a 9 is real close to a 10, and a 10 means we need to step into the ring. So you know, you got like a 1 in delivery, a 2 in assertiveness, and a 3, you know, and then it's like, okay, we're at a 5. This is cool. This is tolerable. When, you know, when you make a situation intolerable for someone, what do you expect is going to happen? And I think that's what's interesting about the perception of being an angry black woman, and the reality of you being or treating humans any type of way in an environment where we're not supposed to be treated any type of way. There are handbooks, there are rules, there are protocols, there are hotlines, there are clauses, there are contracts, there are all these things to protect us from being treated any type of way. What is it about the woman brain that tells us that we have to deal in those situations? Because that's really the problem, because it's not supposed to happen. Not to say everyone is going to be perfect, or everyone's going to be happy, or everyone's going to be this pleasant Mary Poppins to work with. But when it does happen, what in us makes us want to figure it out ourselves when the book has been written on how to handle it? You know, there's a channel to deal with anything that should not happen. There's steps, there's protocols. So being 30 now and understanding that it's like 2 categories. And this is 15 years of employment to get here, guys. So I say this with a grain of salt. But it's 2 categories. Either it's under a 5 and this really don't matter, or it's over a 5 and this needs to be escalated. You know, and and it's just that simple. So in the immediate sense, like, yeah, it can be under a 5. I may talk some smack to a couple of coworkers, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna take it home. I'm not gonna toss and turn over it, because some ancestor already told me you was trash anyway, so I ain't even about to worry about you. But if it's something overt that I feel like is going to carry over, it's something that you've really stepped on a toe, and you know, this is going to leave a bruise, I'm going to have to look at this for a while. At that point, then I know now I just need to turn this over to somebody else. Because everybody has a boss. Everybody has someone that they answer to. May not be in the building, it may not be, but everybody has a checkmate. You know, everything on a chessboard can be checked. It doesn't matter if it's getting checked by, you play your cards wrong, a pawn will take you out. Period.
See, you're better than me.
So
I'm passive aggressive, so I'm just gonna oh, you want me to do this? No, I'm gonna do it times 10. You know,
the energy that take, and that's why you kind of gotta develop just that. It's a switch, and it's quick. It's real quick. Cause y'all know, you probably didn't see me like 1 minute. It's like, this mother, and I come back, hey y'all, we talking about a lot. You know, like it's gone just that quick, cause it's a switch. It's like the energy that it takes so much energy to be mean and nasty. It is exhausting and heavy. Getting even is exhausting. You can't play that game. If that's not your game, you can't play that game. The reason why the miserable people can come to work and be miserable every day, because that's really who they are. To get me to be miserable is more work for me.
I do it happily, though. I do it happily. What you want me to go do? Scrape some toilets? Let's go do it. I'll scrape them all. I'll go clean your car out. What you want me to do? Let's do it. Come on. Okay, great. I have a great day at work. Bye. Like, I did my job. I was supposed to listen. Bye. You know, like, that's how I feel. It's temporary anyway. You know? What y'all feel like?
I'm the opposite. I just don't work. That's why I don't need a job. I don't know. Like, it's just like, after a while, you know, depending on how you're handling or approaching me or talking to me, I will have an understanding if this is anything I'm gonna put effort towards, and usually it's nothing worth it. So
what about your customers?
I always love my customers. I work for my customers because that's a different idea. Sometimes customers don't understand the power they have. So usually like they don't understand I'm working for them. So with someone not knowing the power that they have, it's kind of easier to work with them. Because when someone feel like they're in power, they start belittling you, or they start treating you as if they are your superior. But usually customers don't understand that power. So it's just like, you know, they just like, la, la, la. And plus they teach me stuff too. So it's a relationship that I have built with them. But I would prefer to work for my own customers opposed to
other people's customers.
No, this is like a manager or something, or someone who already have their own brand, because I'm not your worker, but I work for my customers because it's the exchange in what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So what about when you have an issue with professionalism between you and another female, when it comes to assertiveness versus aggression versus just plain like out of line, a-hole?
I don't know. I don't really feel like I've really experienced that. I mean, I'm just not anyone's really gonna try too much, and if they do, like, I did it immediately, but
Unbothered.
kindly. But it's just more so, I usually be unbothered, but it's just like, I always come back and be like, when you put me to the side to tell me how I wasn't doing it, like, you should kind of check the way you said that, because if it wasn't me, someone else could have got offended. But since I understand where you was coming from, I'm like, don't do it again. And they be like, oh, okay.
Yes. It's a
So it's
communication
just like,
thing then.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
most definitely.
And see,
So
that was a prime example of the delivery, the assertiveness. You see what I'm saying? So what she said was absolutely 10. That was don't do that. But she said it so kindly. She didn't get loud. She made it very receivable. And I think that as women, we need to learn how to transfer receivable conversations first. Because a lot of times, sometimes even me, little old innocent me at work, I wasn't being that nice about it. I'm like, where the burger? So, when I get that back, I got to wash it. Because that was a 3 for a 3. That's a wash, I gave it. They matched it. We're done here, I got to try again. So that, too. We have to be honest. Honest. Is this person picking on you? Or do you suck at your job?
Yeah.
Is this person picking? Is this person aggressive? Or are you ignoring them? Or, have you shifted your energy towards them? Because I'm real dismissive. Real dismissive. And I will mentally elevate myself above people real easy. Like, you know what? I'm here. You're there.
I love to do that.
Don't talk to me.
Not like that, but yeah.
Peasant. I will do that. And then it's like nothing you can say. It's like the aura's around me. It's a shield and you cannot penetrate the aura. And that's not, the best mechanism for working in any environment, especially one the size of the one that we work in. So, that's just a level of honesty that most people don't even want to bring up about themselves. So it starts with self and your standard. And you have to be your standard. You have to operate in your standard. You know what I mean? And that way you can attract your standard. And when you don't attract your standard, then you can check it. Professionally.
See, at first, when y'all brought this up, I'm like, I don't have those experiences in my workplace. But I guess because I don't hold to them, I forgot about them. But when I worked at the casino, I definitely was having an issue with an older black woman. And I just like, and usually, but usually it be like older, the elders. And I just couldn't believe it because like we were working hand in hand doing the same thing, and I was just enjoying her because more so like I just love to hear like where you been, you kind of walked this life a little bit before me, how it's been, how it's going, where you at, what's going on, like. But she had an attitude towards me, and I'm just like, ma'am, what is wrong with you? Like, not only do I feel too old for this, like, I'm not in a playground with you, man, with my hands on my hips, like, and my mama said, like, but she kept coming at me like that. But then I started realizing, like, obviously she's still somewhere else in her life, because she's 50, but she sounds 12. So it's just more so I kept trying to figure out, like, what happened when you were younger, because you're still in that frequency, you're still vibrating there. So and then I feel like because I look young to her, I'm triggering her. And I was just like, because she checked me, and I was just like, what is up with you, woman? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I remember I asked her a question, and I was just like, when do we have to come for tomorrow? And she was like, it said on the schedule. And I'm like, you didn't have to say it like that. I did. And I'm like, oop. I was just like,
she shook the table.
What? She hit me with the idea, and I'm like, not on the playground. Like, I'm not about to argue with you. And ever since then, I started noticing, like, everyone's like, do she got issue with you? Do she got issue with you? I'm like,
yeah, she did.
I just don't know. But I did talk to her, and I don't know. And also, I don't know where she was, to be honest, but she felt like, oh, you didn't have to bring that up. Like, I was over that. I was like, that doesn't mean your actions didn't, like, affect me or my, like, dealing with you. But, I don't know. Like, when an elder gets disrespectful, it's really, like, heartbreaking. Because it's just like, dang, like, if only I could help you. Like, but unfortunately, like, you was here first. Like, and there's some things you got to work through. So now it's time for you to listen. Like, you don't have no, like, advice or anything for me. Like, you actually should, like, take note. Like,
So you said that you think that sometimes we can be a trigger to them when they were our age. I think that also sometimes that they are jealous of us because we are in a position that they were not at our age.
Yeah.
A lot of older black women, a lot of older women, they were married with children. They weren't living so freely. They weren't living, you know, how they wanted to live at our age. So, yeah, one of my current supervisors, I think she didn't like me, you know, when I first started working at this job. I'm almost 100% sure she didn't. And off of that strength, you know, I was just kind of always, you know, a little, because when I feel like you don't like me and you don't know me, it makes me look at you like something's off with you because you don't even know. You don't know me. I haven't said anything to you to give you that impression where you have to act like that towards me. So I feel a type of way, and I might act aggressive towards you for, you know, what may seem like no reason, you know. And I'm like, you know what, why am I putting all of this, you know, this energy towards feeling this type of way towards this lady who I don't even know? So I began talking to her, and I began, you know, kind of not confiding in her, but, you know, just seeking advice from her because she is an older black woman. And within that, I'm just like, you know what, I understand. I get it. And now I want to move past it. And now, you know, we have this, aside from our work status, we have this exchange going on, and I like it, you know. And then you also talked about, you know, how, like, you're older, you need to take advice from me because I'm happening now, you happened back then. I'm like, you know what?
I didn't say that.
And that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm going to sum that up for her.
You're welcome.
That one was for free.
I wasn't saying that, Grandma. No. She's lying. No, I was kidding.
Ooh, we need tea in our cups.
Period.
But so I was telling somebody, I'm like, you know what? The fact that you come off so aggressive and so mean, and you tell these younger people who come in here that you don't like them and you hate the way they work, you got to chill out with that because they're learning the way things are the way they are now. You have to release the way that you know, learn things. You have to let it go because things are changing, times are changing, and you can't, you know, I guess harbor. Back to what you were saying, you can't harbor. You can't let the new things trigger you. Basically, you can't, you know. So I don't know.
So somebody here had a situation with somebody that we know when it came to landscaping. So I'm about to just start stirring the pot. Let's talk about that.
What?
Let's talk about times where it's like, wow, nothing, like, you're not receiving me trying to be professional, so I'm gonna have to take it to another level. Who want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm the type of person, like, I could play nice with you, but once we get to a certain point, it's like game over. Like, the claws is coming out. I'm not being nice. I'm not going to try to be nice. I'm not going to try to compromise. Like, I go 0 to 100 faster than the New York minute. I'm not going to play with you. Like, so I just feel like, honestly, my attitude has actually improved because of my children, and I feel like if I did not have children, I'd probably, you know, be in the orange jumpsuit working that thing. Like, but no, like, I just got to the point where I don't mind matching energy. Like, y'all sound so mature, like, oh, just let it go. Like, no, I can. I'm not to the point where I can kill people with kindness. I'm sorry. Like, I can be nice and professional and all of that, but, you know, if you ain't trying to be mature, then you know, we we gonna take it to a different level.
What happened to the yard?
Oh yeah. Let's get to it. So
Where's the tea?
basically, I had a situation where I had paid someone to come and landscape my yard, and yeah, so basically I had paid him, and he decided he just didn't want to answer his phone and like put me on a block list and all type of just craziness. So I just, was trying to be mature about it, but then it's like, okay, you don't want to, be professional. So, now you about to get a whole different side of me, and let me make a couple phone calls because, like, I basically had to call somebody I called a couple people actually because this man was not basically like responding to me trying to be nice. And
people.
Because I don't, so basically I had to get men involved for this man to like, finally like react. I don't know, but then again, sometimes I be like, I don't like being nice to people because I feel like a lot of people take my kindness as a weakness, and you not about to play with me. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I just got to learn how to balance that assertiveness, but also like trying to not be so assertive.
Right. Not aggressive.
Right. So, because like I said, I go 0 to 100, and I'm really working on not like what I said. When it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I know even if I'm in the wrong, I need to learn how to like
channel it
and be receptive.
Right.
Channel it.
So can we talk about that?
Did he cut the grass?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, eventually, long story short, I had to call his dad, and it's like, you is a grown ass man. Can I? He was a grown man. So it's like, yeah, so eventually I had to like go through different men to actually get this dude to respond, because it was like he just wasn't like basically responding to me trying to be nice or mature and professional or whatever the case may be. So it's like I had to call my dad, I had to call my friend, I had to call his dad. It was just a hot mess, and it was like, why did I have to jump through so many hoops just to get a response when it's like,
this your job, you took my money,
literally. And it's like, I don't like just because I don't like getting crazy.
I trust that you could have handled this yourself. I know you didn't have to call nobody. You just was trying to.
I was
be fair to that man.
Right. So it's like, I don't like getting a certain way, because I know when I get that way is like I see red, and
red is dead.
Yes.
So that's where I'm trying to shift the conversation to, because I feel like if I want to buy a car, or if I want to even take my car to the mechanic at this point, it's like I feel obligated to bring a man. And it's like, I don't want to feel that way. I'm just so sick and tired of it. But every time I try to do it on my own, they try to play me. And it's like, at this point, I'm just tired. It's exhausting. Mm-hmm. How do y'all feel about that? Can
I personally feel like, okay, so I feel like as a whole, we have sort of, I may be reaching.
Oh, here we go.
But,
rabbit hole. She about to talk about gender roles. Here we go.
But no, it's like, okay, I just see like this shift in society where it's like a lot of women are probably getting it taken advantage of because of not really having that male, sort of role model around. Like, if you honestly think about it, I'm not exactly sure of exact numbers, but if you think about like how many households, don't have that male, presence or whatever. So it's like a lot of people know that. So they gonna be like, oh, oh, you don't know how to change a tire? Oh, so you really need, so they gonna sort of try to just basically take advantage of you because, they gonna think that you basically don't know what you're doing or, whatever the case may be. So I feel like that's part of the reason why, because it's like, we just know we have a lack of masculinity around us. So
we become the masculinity.
Right.
One woman shop.
Right. So
that's how I felt, y'all. I had to kick somebody out before, and this dude was crazy tripping. And I went and got my cousin, who's a guy, just, not even thinking. It was like, what did I even bring you for? I could have fought him myself, for real. Like, he was a little taller than me, maybe a little bit. Got, his experience
the
of
giraffe
fighting.
was going to come out.
But I'm like, the dude that I brought, I'm like, I really didn't need you, to be honest. But I just really felt like I had to bring you. Yeah. Like, I bring that man in with me. But really, I could have fought you myself. Like, I was tussling with him, too. My cousin dragged me out. Like, girl, don't let him leave.
And see, I'm at that point now where I don't feel the need to bring a man with me. Like, the car that I'm driving now, because I've been through the ringer so many times when it comes to cars, I know what to say. I know who to talk to. I know what to look for. I know, to pop the hood and check. I know what to do. So the car that I'm driving now, I specifically went to the lot for not that car, for a different car, but this one is very similar to it. But so I went up there specifically for that car. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I want. I have this much money. I have a cosigner. I got XY. I have it all lined up because I know y'all going to ask me for it. So take this, run it, come back to me, with some good news. They didn't have good news. They tried to put me in something that I didn't want with a lot of miles, with a high note. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'll take my money and go elsewhere because I know y'all playing with me. I know. I know I got people who tell me X, Y, and Z, and I know, I know this how this goes. They work for, the same people. They, do the same thing. So they're like, you know what? Hold on, wait a second. Let me go call somebody. I'm going to call this different finance company. I'm like, okay, you go do that, and I'm going to sit here and just, come in. I'm going to sit here and wait for you to come back and tell me what I want to hear. And they did. They put me in something with less miles in the car that I actually went there for, with a note cheaper than what I wanted. And I'm like, I know that's right, because I'm not, we're not doing this. I don't want to say I'm too grown, but I've been through this too many times for somebody to keep telling me the same thing. I'm not falling for it no more.
It could also be like a intimidation thing sometimes, maybe, where they feel like just because I feel like we've got to a point where women has basically just been I won't even say stripped of their power, but to a certain extent stripped of their important, role that they play in the world, the society, period. Like, we have been so just, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, we have been just straight taught or whatever that is like, this a man's world and this and that. But it's like, okay, how can it really be a man's world when
we had to have
y'all came from us? So I feel like it's somewhat, to a certain extent, a lack of disrespect, a lack of just like, I've had discussions with men who think they came out of ball sack for some reason, and I'm just confused why you would think that when you have been with your mother, your entire time. So it's like, it's a lot of lacking of misinformation or just knowledge and just respect. There's a lot of different things that just go into that.
So we need to bring this back to the household. Like, dad,
Absolutely.
talk to your daughter.
Absolutely.
Let them know when you buy a car, like, this is what you need to say and this is how you need to say it in case there isn't a man. But if there is a man, that's great. Let him do what he got to do. But if he's not there, you're going to be ready regardless.
I'm going to tell you this. When it comes to things that have to do with finance, credit, the presents don't matter. You can send a 98-year-old woman in there with an 800. You can send a 21-year-old anything in there with a 2 credit score, and guess what? The conversation is always going to steer the same. So this is a a little piece of a big broad cycle. But that's why I love this exchange, because we can pick pieces of it, and then you get to see how these things all coincide. Right? So we started off with talking about why in the workplace are women having these expectations put on us. And now we see, by jumping in the rabbit hole, thank you, that it starts with the structure. It starts with the foundation. It starts with someone at some point being misnourished and growing up to be a person who feels like they have to be something
That they can't be.
nasty or unpleasant to get a point across. A lot of that is rooted in lack of males in the household, in lack of quality male exchanges, having platonic male friends, having a protective father, having a respectful baby daddy, baby father, having meeting men who don't disrespect you or try to coerce you, or landlords who aren't trying to get sideways exchanges, or mechanics who don't want your number for a discount, or all of those are male.
That happened to me. Oh,
I know I am so superior, but I didn't see it all. So all of these are exchanges that we experience as women, and we internalize them. We get through them quick, but we internalize them, and then where I was this clean canvas. Now I got all these little specks of shitty exchanges on me that have molded me to be this person. Now I have these thorns. And now every time somebody tries to, and I'm like, poke. And then you're like, why are you so mad at work?
but
I got robbed by the tire man to get here. I get finessed by my landlord where I lay my head. The daddy don't get the baby. Like, how pleasant am I really supposed to be to you? You know what? And that right there, that weight is what the expectation, and that is, I think, a big part of women in employment. You know what I mean? Because most households are women ran. Most of our households are women ran. And when I say women ran, I don't mean it ain't a man in the house. I just mean that man ain't running it. He's not. He's not the sole provider. You're a companion because I need somebody to split this rent with.
I hate that.
Somebody somewhere cringing.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna pull the Band-Aid off, because it is what it is. Doesn't mean it's woman ran. Woman ran means that this woman is working and bringing a viable stream of revenue into this home, and she dictates what groceries get bought and who get what and what Christmas gifts get bought and all of this. And that man is there, and he's like a prop. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of them. Or the man ain't there at all, and that woman is still working 2 or 3 jobs and doing this, that, and the third.
And she don't have a chance to be a woman. Like, I feel like,
because I love you here to
my bad, girl.
No, we just coming close to it. And I was just gonna say, if we could go around and start, how about everybody give their like solid advice about this, like 1 to 2 minutes. Like, what's your advice for somebody who is struggling? Because we're running out of time, but somebody who's struggling to have these exchanges, and if you have a final thought, you could just tie it into our advice for the listeners. We love you. Genova, why don't you start us off? You were giving some good advice, but what's like the summary of like, what do you want somebody to take from this?
That your experiences are going to be just that. Their experiences. They're not something to live in forever. So if you don't like what you've been through, you don't like what you're going through, just at some point hit the stop button and jump on a different track.
Something that I wanted to say earlier was that when it comes to, because you had said that, you know, we all seem like we are all love and light, and I ask myself all the time, like, do I really want to be love and light all the time? Because does that really get the job done? Do I really honestly feel like that all the time? And no, the answer is no. I don't want to be that all the time. I feel my strongest sometimes when I go to that dark place, because that's when, you know, true magic does happen. So I just want to say, you know, you don't have to be all love and light to be a good person. You know, just being real to yourself, being true to your emotions is what, you know, brings those good qualities forth. Is what I don't know, just being you, just being true to yourself, being you. What did I say before? I said being you to be beautiful, you know, just be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, accept those emotions, let them go, let them pass. Like Amber says, you know, treat your emotions like water, you know. That's all I want to say.
I would just like to say, even though I did say, you know, I'm getting a little aggressive and all of that, I just also want to emphasize, like, we are women, so my best advice would be learn to be assertive, but at the same time, like, don't let nobody rob you of your femininity, because at the end of the day, you are a woman, and I feel like it's certain standards that we need to start holding ourselves to, you know, just as a whole, so that we can create that shift. Because if you sort of like really, I'm just going to dip into the rabbit hole real quick, but we have to understand that a lot of stuff that we deal with or go through is not really our fault, and that this has been instilled from us, like I said, from the womb. This is generations of our grandmothers, you know, going through certain things, and, you know, great grandmothers, and all of that's getting passed down through the womb. So you is dealing with certain emotions and all of that you know, that you ain't had no control over. So at the end of the day, I just feel like we as women just have to understand who we are, the power that we have, and I understand that we go through a lot, but we have to still stick with our femininity, and we can't be a man, like, at the end of the day, even though I know we try to be, but we have to understand that we're women, and is a certain way we got to go about things. And I don't know, that's just all I got. It's like, you be assertive, but don't be too masculine. Still stick to your femininity. Even though sometimes we may feel like we got to play both roles, we can't. That's just my, you know,
Your spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off Anisha. It's kind of what I was going to say, like, to take these, like, situations and be more empowered, not to be so reactive to what's being projected onto you, because oftentimes then it becomes your reality. So, like, maybe sometimes it could be a reflection, but sometimes it's just a test, and usually, like, it's not even about, like, how you apply it or anything. It's just, like, don't let no one take you anywhere. Like,
Right.
your reality is what, you know, it's your own divine power. So it's more so be empowered with those situations and actually know what it is to be a woman spiritually and use your gift. Like, there's gifts where you could actually just, I don't have to stoop there. I am, in fact, way beyond this, because I bring humans through. Like, I'm a portal.
Right.
Come on, like,
Right.
there's not much
on my name.
It's not much. You about to just take me and get me there. But when it's due, I do feel like those are times for reflections. That's when the reflection come in. Like, when you respond, when you react, and you project along with that reality that's presented, and you feel like you are having friction and complications, then that's the time to start reflecting within your own self. Like, but over all the time, I feel like women have the ability to always, like, transcend and, like, you know, like, transmute
Take our
anything.
power back and twist it and then put it back out to something better.
Yeah, because oftentimes I feel like I don't have these experiences, but I do, but they're not my reality. So I'm like, oh, I guess that did pop up in my world for a second, but
like, whatever. It's so minuscule.
yeah, because I realized, like, I did just experience that with another human being, okay, but that's not my life, nor that's not my real reality. So yeah, it's a choice.
Well, my advice is, like, I really don't have advice to give on, like, the main point of this. Like, I'm still working on this, to be honest. Like, I really am. Like, I'll go to work and I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to start doing this. And then I'm just like, no, I'm not ready yet. I'll just do what I got to do and go home. Like, I'll do this another day. But one thing I do know I feel like I'm good at is empathy. And that's why when Alicia was talking about, like, well, maybe this was something that she hasn't healed from yet in her childhood, like, that's something I'm trying to practice more of, like, putting myself in their shoes and, like, this is how you have been socially constructed, this is how you have been abused, this is the trauma you've dealt with. So I would just ask everybody just to practice a little bit of empathy and just, like, don't just react. You know, I think it is okay that women are emotional. I love the fact that I'm emotional. I love that I cry. I love that all my female friends cry and express themselves. But maybe just like take a second and just think and breathe and then react. So that's all I got to say. Anybody got any final thoughts?
Yes, I got one last thing. So as I was because like usually women are so reactive because there's not enough nurturing to the womb, and when you got to take care of your core and your center. Right. Usually, like we get buck wild when it's wild in here and it's not it's being filled with anything. It's being treated however, and then you start exuding these toxic ways and behaviors and stuff, and you're angry, but that's because you're not treating yourself or your womb, because it's your portal. Like imagine that, like you won't want no messy portal and somebody to jump through. Like what? Like, be like, what the hell is this?
So, I had, or you want to go?
Secretary, I wanted to make a note because I want to pick back up on that exact point on a later episode about generational energy through the womb.
Oh yeah.
So, and I have a question. So, Alicia, for the listener who is about to get off this podcast and meditate because they're feeling some type of way about what they're going through, what are some affirmations they can say to really like connect with that womb energy? Come on, like give us at least one. Like what can they say?
I mean, I don't know, like
I am a divine feminine energy.
Yeah, or, you know,
or
like
I am a portal. I am the first teacher. I am, you know, I am a woman. I create life.
Yeah.
Like you just got to know who you are, like know what power you have. Like you said, because just think about it. If you have not healed from your womb, you are recreating. You putting out little. I ain't gonna say demon babies, but that's what you populating the world with, because you haven't healed, and that's what I'm saying. As far as passing trauma through the womb that we just don't even know about, is like, I don't know, but that's basically what I had wanted to bounce off of Alicia, is just healing the womb, because like we is portals, so whatever we going through is gonna be passed through our children. Like your children is a reflection of you. And also to bounce off what Amber said as far as the emotions, you know, my favorite saying is
I know it, girl. I put it in my guided meditation. Control your emotions. Don't let them control you. Come on now. I stole that. That's hers, y'all.
Yeah, and just one affirmation, I did think about it, but one thing that was big for me was forgiving myself. You know, like oftentimes we do things to ourselves. We make these choices. We harm our womb, not realizing until later through those healing process. You be like, why did I do that to myself? Or, oh my God, I didn't know this was harming me. So that was a big one. Like, you know, forgive me. And I forgive myself. And you talk to all these parts of your body for forgiveness because, you know, they're here with us and they actually are living and breathing. And we done did some things. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, y'all. Go ahead, Leslie.
Yeah, I just want to close it out on this note. You know, if you're ever dealing with, you know, an issue and you feel like you don't know which way to go, you feel like you want to choose the love and light route, you want to go, you know, you want to kill them with kindness, it takes a lot more strength to do nothing than it does to do something. So,
I know that's right.
Peace and love, everybody. Until next time. Bye.